Good afternoon, everyone. This is Pastor Devin Miller, the real pastor, the true pastor, bringing you yet another edition of Financial Matters. Why? Because financials matter. And if you've been with us this month, you know who we are talking with. Miss Sarah Jordan from Primerica. I've been practicing all day to be able to say that right. So I said it right, Primerica. And so we're going to continue our conversation. And so I'm going to bring her up shortly. Good after, or it is evening on the East Coast. Good evening, Lady Virgo. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Hope you have some financial questions after you kind of hear what we're talking about. That'd be great. Or just listen in, you know what we do. Um, by way, okay, thank you. You're the second person that told me my sound sounds low. Uh, and maybe I just don't want to talk to y'all. No, I'm just playing. Um, I appreciate you. Does that sound better? Lady Virgo, does that sound better? I hit my sound button and everything, so we want to make sure we're good. Let me see here. We are sponsored by. Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, we've got bad weather here in Texas, so that might be it as well. I had that issue earlier today, but hopefully it'll get better. We've been under cloud cover for the last 2 days, so when it uh when it goes bad, it first hits the internet and then it hits everybody else. So okay, that's cool. But we are sponsored by Clear Faith Christian Ministries, Clear Faith Christian Counseling and Coaching Services. Excuse me. Uh, Social Daddy Media, which is our partner with the literacy campaign that we have going on nationally. You can find the link on our TikTok page if you follow me on TikTok because I'm only posting it there and posting it on IG because we want to get it out. So you can find the link, and all you have to do is just register and sign the petition, and then uh, you will become a part of our literacy campaign, which entails tracking how you read to your children. We're going to we have books online that you can download and then start reading to your children because literacy is at an all-time low for our children. And I am unashamedly black. So when our kids are in trouble, we are the ones that are supposed to go to the rescue. So um, please find it. If you follow me, it's Pastor Devin Miller on TikTok, and it's Lee Devin Miller on IG. So that'll be posted up later today, and we're going to be posting it every day so that people can be aware of that. So our thanks to Social Daddy Media for bringing us on board with that. And then our last two sponsors are I'm Alive Healthy Premium Coffees. It's coffee without the kick, but it gives you good antioxidants and all that healthy stuff that you need, and still give you a good tasting coffee. So if you're a coffee drinker but you don't want the caffeine kick and all the other stuff that comes with it, you want to be a part of the I'm Alive Premium Coffee Revolution. And so if you would like more information, put it in the chat and I will give you the telephone number of the distributor that we're working with that is sponsoring us, Miss Beverly Robinson. And then finally, our new sponsor is Brain Aligned, and it's brainaligned.com. Now, you might wonder, why am I dealing with stuff with the brain? Well, uh, as a leadership development coach and a relationships counselor, I've written 4 workbooks, and the leadership development workbooks have been transcribed into video. and the video is deals with how the brain absorbs information, not just by reading, but how you get into the subconscious where it becomes really a part of you. And Brain Aligned has established three video 15 videos that go along with the three workbooks of Lead Like David, Serve Like Jesus. So it's a $30 subscription to Brain Aligned that gives you access to all 15 videos, but you've got to read the books in order to get the videos. So if you get all three books, you get 50 you get access to the 15 videos. If you only order one of the books, then you get five of the videos, depending on where you are on your leadership journey. Remembering that our leadership workbooks deal from foundation of leadership to maintaining leadership in workbook two to legacy in workbook three. Okay, so of course, we encourage you to get all three, but it depends on where you are in your leadership journey with your business, with your church, possibly even with your family. Okay, so it hits all three from a biblical perspective. And then we will be working on putting video to the relationship book, which is how to build and maintain relationships. Now, you don't have to get the videos. We just did that to enhance the understanding of the workbooks. But you can simply go to Amazon.com, look up the titles, or look up my name, Pastor Devin Miller, and patronize our ministry by purchasing one or all four of the videos. And we would appreciate it if you would. All right, let's go ahead and bring on Miss Jordan and get into the conversation for today.
Hello,
Miss
hello.
Jordan, how are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm excited about what you said. So I'm just getting right into it. You talked about literacy, and immediately someone came to mind. Two people came to mind because I have a friend. She has a reading program, and she goes through a series of books with the children and works with them as to where they are in literacy journey. So I think at the end of this call, I'll hook you up with her because it's all about the networking and they're school age kids. That's her
Okay.
passion. And she has a really wonderful program. And also, my husband's aunt, she's written several books in Canada. I hooked the two of them up together so her books can be, because somebody who looks like us writing the
Yes.
books and discharge. And
Right.
it's about talents, about children having talents. I don't want to break the secret, but it's really encouraging for folks to see, for the children to see, not just the author being looking like them, but the protagonists and the stories look like them. You know, and she's covered a wide range of ethnicities in the book. Of course, we're reflected there. So I'll do some connections in that space as well. You guys can take it to whatever conclusion, but it's a good, two good people that with whom you can connect.
Right. That'd be wonderful. And plus, what I will do too is connect them with Brain Aligned and look at the possibility of taking those books and making them into video.
Oh,
Uh,
cool beans.
yeah. And what they do, like I said, is they take the narrative, but put subliminal video. I mean, yeah, subliminal video to go along with it, so that it really the brain absorbs the information as opposed to just reading it. So it's a I can't do it with all the technical stuff. I just say, hey, Philip and Nathan do that, But I did watch,
Well, you know what I'll do?
Go ahead.
I get you a copy. That's my gift to you, uh, for allowing me to be part of this network. I'll get you copies of the books, so you
Okay.
can at least find it. That's what I would do.
Yeah, and again, it's about networking because the books that Social Daddy Media use, they try to make sure that they're, it's folks like us. And so I'll put them two together so that she can become a part of his network and supplying books that can be used nationally for the download and the reading and the tracking and making sure that we're really getting back to reading to our kids. So again,
Makes
it's all
sense.
about it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. that really
Absolutely.
makes it work. Robert Jennings just joined us. He's one of our uh, followers on another podcast that I'm on. So he's been following us. So
Well,
good afternoon, Robert.
hi,
Good
Robert.
to see you. And he said good evening to you as well.
Thank
I should figure out how to. Oh, here we go. I didn't even know I could do that. Learn something every day. Oh, I guess I can't do that. Okay. So let's get into the topic that you wanted to discuss from last week in regards to how we deal with finances and things like that, so that we can get into that discussion. So you had brought up last at the end of the show last week something that was very concerning to you when it comes to finances and financial literacy. So what was that?
you. I'm drawing a blank. Oh my God.
Uh,
I forgot what's the closing thing. I forgot. I
yeah,
forgot.
I think it had something to do about changing the way we look at saving and you and
Oh, right,
income.
right, right. So what I was talking, what I remember closing with, I think this is it. When we were talking about our finances and saving and stuff, I remember when I was closing, I was talking about life insurance, the way we look at it.
Right.
And the way we look at it in our community is not as encouraging as it needs to be because we look at it as final expenses.
Hmm.
And we talk about the succession plan, right? Because why does it have to be a final expense? So you had a mortgage or this and you pay that off. But yes, that's important because you don't want to leave it to the families that are left behind. But
Right.
the thing is, we don't talk about final expenses. We talk about income replacement.
Right.
That is the conversation.
Hmm.
Income replacement. Because when we go, when we leave, whenever that time is, right, we're not taking everybody else with us.
Hmm.
Right? Our heirs, our
Right.
generations, our children, grandchildren, they're going to live beyond us, right? That's
Right.
most. So we talk about if you're not there, right? Because your income supports them on a day to day basis, right? You go in the office, you punch your clock, whatever. Once you come home at the end of every day, your income goes down to zero.
Hmm.
It goes down to zero. It's very finite, right? So once we are alive and we're working, supporting our families, that's income that we get up every day to regenerate. We have to get up to exchange our hours for dollars. If we are no longer there, God forbid, does the responsibility go away? They still need a place to live, to eat. A mortgage may still need to be paid. College, if that's the direction. Healthcare is a situation. Vacations, whatever it is. So we put people in a vehicle that they can afford so that the survivors will live the same or better lifestyle.
Right.
Because we have to talk about succession plan, income replacement, not final expenses. That is not a narrative, especially for our community, because that's how a lot of communities have enriched themselves, enriched their community by creating an immediate estate through the life insurance. Right? Once you go, that's the creation of an immediate estate, whether it's 100,000, 10,000, whatever it is, that gets passed on to the next generation. That is the conversation we need to have, not final expenses. And the commercials are swamped with all of these commercials about final expenses, final expenses. We don't talk about that.
Right.
That's not our conversation.
Okay. Okay. And so let's dig a little deeper into that from a historical perspective.
Mhm.
Um, we as a people, and whoever else might be listening is fine, but we as a people have always looked at life insurance from day one as preparing to die. That insurance was to take care of the family when you're gone. But I don't think in today's world we we don't do enough, as you were saying, to dispel the myth that it's only for when you die. And I'm saying that because I got caught up in that before until I started doing these shows.
Mhm.
Because in my premarital counseling, in my relationship counseling in general, when we start talking about finances, I always say, okay, make sure you got life insurance, and especially final expenses, because you want to make sure that your family's taken care of when you go. Never talking about it from the income replacement perspective. It was
Right,
always from make sure you leave something for your family.
right.
Go ahead.
And it's biblical because you said a wealthy man leaves an inheritance for his grandchildren. And
Right.
that's where it comes in. You are creating an inheritance for those to follow multiple generations. Now, if you
Right.
notice and this is just me, my own observations, when you look at these commercials that are talking about life insurance, they're always targeting a certain demographic. If you look at who's on there,
Okay. Yeah.
you see a lot of us on there
Hmm.
talking about final expenses. I'm
Right.
not saying exclusively us, but so we are being conditioned subconsciously to take that approach when it's not the right one, right?
Right.
And also based on we always say the big print giveth and the small print taketh away. Because as
Hmm.
good as these things sounds, no medical and da 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 da, and the money's invested in the companies, that's why they're able to give it to. When you look at the small print, they talk about whether there's a test or not. They talk about the certain conditions, the criteria that has to be met, right?
Right.
And I
Right.
am saying get something, whether it's what I have to offer or something else, but you have to be very mindful because I've had other friends who work for other companies and they've been expensive and they've been, I wouldn't like to say rip-off, but they've not been the best ones for us. So we have a specific vehicle that we get people to. We talk about buying a term insurance. We mentioned that at the last time, and investing the difference. The difference, that's our mantra. The difference that you invest, you get to do keep whatever. We don't commingle investment products with our financial products
Yes.
with our life insurance rather. A
Right.
life insurance is completely separate. It's pure 100%, but we customize it based on what the individual can afford so that you don't have to negotiate between paying your light bills or buying groceries and paying your insurance, right? We make sure it's something that you can comfortably keep so that when the time comes, it's in fully enforced. But the spare change that we're going to work with you, you can invest the difference. And that's also wealth building. We put it in mutual funds, and that's your money that you own outright,
Okay.
100%. So we give the financial education on how to treat your money, make your money, save your money, protect your money, grow your money, right?
Okay. Okay. So talk to me a little bit about the new way in which you can look at life insurance as well as because you kind of talked about it, I want to talk about it a little bit more. How you can borrow against your policy, but it's not borrowing, it's kind of a loan that
Right,
you can pay back, but you
right.
can use your life insurance now.
So what you're explaining is what we call cash value that Primerica absolutely we don't deal with because it's
Okay.
absolutely not the best thing.
Okay.
That's like a whole life insurance. I don't want to tee anybody off, but whole life cash value, IULs, all of it's IULs is the same thing as a whole life policy dressed up in a different form, right?
Okay.
Those policies have the investments co-mingled with the life insurance policy. And
Okay.
that's very attractive for our community.
Right.
Why? Because they talk about the cash value, it's building the cash, right? So as
Right.
you pay your policy, your cash value is accumulated and we could borrow against it. Now that's where we draw the line. Because
Okay.
if my cash value is accumulating, if my policy is accumulating cash, why on earth do I need to borrow my own
Own
money?
money. Okay.
It
Okay.
is not ours.
Right.
See, people don't understand that. Oh, I couple I borrowed da da da. Yeah, but you had to pay it back
Mm-hmm.
because you borrowed it. And that's the
Right.
one word these companies who offer cash value, IULs and whole life insurance, they don't mix that word up. They
Mm.
don't. They tell you you can borrow. Now, and that's because the cash value is commingled. The cash that you accumulate is commingled with the policy,
Okay.
right? So you pay for two things and you get one,
Mm.
right? So let's say you have a death benefit that has is $100,000, and over the years you're paying your cash value accumulating $25,000, and you borrow that, you got to pay it back,
Right.
right? Or let's say you borrowed $15,000 and then you pass away without paying the $15,000. Don't think that the beneficiary will get the death benefit and the cash value. No, the cash value always goes back to the company.
To the company.
And the difference, if you haven't paid that $15,000 back, you die before, that gets deducted from the
Policy.
benefit, the death benefit.
Right.
So your beneficiary will get $85,000 because you owe that, you didn't pay it back. And the
Mm-hmm.
10,000 that was never borrowed goes back to the company. Now,
Mm.
if you call anybody out there who has the whole life insurance policy and they're very good at you know, the sales rep, because most of the times they're commission based, they will show them every which way where the cash value is beneficial. But if you call the 800 number, by law, they have to tell you what happens to that cash value. So
Mm.
my advice to anyone who's questioning what I'm saying or who has a whole life, want to make sure, call the 800 number and ask them, upon your demise, what happens to the cash value.
Mm-hmm.
Call the 800 number, not the rep who sold you that money, sold you that policy. And they
Mm-hmm.
have to tell you, they will tell you that it goes back.
Okay.
Now, what we do is completely different. That's why this company was founded, based on that principle, because
Right.
what happened to our founder, right? The
Yeah.
cash value, it is just, that's, I say that's our enemy because it's not the best thing. If you know Susie Orman and Gordon Ramsay, these are financial gurus. They always tell folks about getting a term insurance, not a whole life. So you
Okay.
can also look, Google, and validate what I'm saying through some
Sure.
of what these. But what we um, what we do, we give you something that you can keep, but it's going to be so reasonably priced because we fit it to your budget. The spare change, we would invest your money. We say buy term, invest the difference. That's true wealth building because your mutual funds, it's yours. You can take it all out. You don't have to pay it back because it is yours. It's not
Right.
commingled with the death
Right.
benefit, right? The life insurance is a completely separate product, and the mutual fund is a separate product
Right.
that you
Okay.
own outright. Does not
Mm-hmm.
require payment,
Okay.
repayment.
Repayment. Right. Okay. So let's get into the mindset of, term versus whole. Why, from your expertise and understanding, why do other insurance companies try to push whole life over term life? Because I don't know if I shared this with you. I had a conversation with a guy who called me because I get calls from everybody, and was trying to sell me some insurance, and I was like, well, I'll just go with term. Just kind of feeling, I wasn't gonna buy nothing. I just tried to see what they
Mhm.
say. I said, I'll go with term. He's like, oh no, you don't want to go with term. And I was like, why? And he said, because it turns out, and you won't have anything once the term is over. You won't have anything. I was like, so if I'm 60 years old and I buy a 20-year term life policy and I live to be 80 years old, and it turns out I don't get anything, I just been paying you guys for nothing. And he was like, yeah. I said, sir, that doesn't make human sense. I said, I should get, if anything, I should just get my money back at the end of the term. He's like, no, that's why you want to go with whole life, because it covers your whole life. And I was like, okay. So help him understand that the difference is better with term than it is with whole life.
Well, at least I can say from our policy, from
Yeah.
our perspective, how we do it. We say ours, not we say, but that's what we honor. It's guarantee renewable without proof of insurability.
Okay.
So once you have a policy with us, it's good for as long as you're alive. We say renew before it terms out,
Hmm.
and the price stays the same. We're not reevaluating you. We're not taking a blood test. We know you're older. We're not doing that. We just say renew before it terms out. No, we guarantee people until 70. I think 70 is where you can't get a brand new policy. But
Right.
if you are insured with us and your policy is about to expire, we just expect you to renew it. We're not going to say you reached there and you died or it's over. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
So that's the difference with us, Primerica. I
Okay.
cannot vouch for other companies. I don't
Right.
work
Right.
there, but for us, you get a term life policy. You have it as long as you keep it because you can
Right.
always renew
Right.
before the term expires.
Right. And upon expiration, what happens?
Well, we don't upon expiration. When do you mean expiration? When you
Like
die?
it terms. Yeah, it terms out, and you don't renew. What happens with
Well,
the
when it
term life?
terms out, then that's a good question. Most people just keep it. Then
Hmm.
that's it because you no longer are covered
Right.
because the policies are good as long as you're paying your coverage and your
Right.
thing. It's like, it's like even as a whole life policy, if you stop paying, then you're not covered, right?
Right. Right. If you lapse, so if
But
I go,
just so you know, there's some parameters in there. Let's say you run, you will get notified. So there is a window in which, because sometimes people get like, so I think, I don't know if it's a month or so, but you would be notified that it's coming to the term so that you can renew, right?
right. So again, if I choose not to renew, and in term life, does then what I've accumulated up to that term, is
Well,
that
you
what I
no longer
get?
be covered because you don't have a policy anymore.
Okay.
It's like anything. If I had a whole life insurance and I stop paying, I'm no longer covered with insurance. It's
Okay.
like you put the gas in the car. I don't put gas in the car. How am I going from point A to point B? So
Sure.
you have
Sure.
to, so yeah, that's how that goes.
So your advice then is to renew it before it expires,
Yes, because
so
that way
that
you're covered.
that your way you're covered.
Hmm.
And then if I pass away under the renewal, I'm covered, and then I get the value of the policy.
Right. Well, you won't because you're no longer here, but your
Well, no, well,
beneficiary
yeah,
will.
I was saying it pays out. It pays
Yes,
out to
it
the
pays
family.
out. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So the benefit of term life is the affordability.
Affordability, because whole life is typically more expensive, and
Okay.
the advantage with us is that you can really build the wealth by getting a mutual fund in addition to what we give you because it's going to be so much more reasonable. You can really start having the wealth grow with as little as $25 a month. Everybody could do $25 a month.
Sure.
Just so you know, for the average brokerage, you just can't walk in off the street, Wall Street, say, "Hey, I'm going to invest $25." They strap you in. I used to live in New York and take you to Creedmoor. That's a mental institution, but you need a whole lot of zeros, and that's what makes us so attractive. And so, because of the affordability,
Okay.
our crusade, our mantra is buy term, invest the difference, and the pricing of it is so well placed. It's because we work with you. If
Right.
you got $30, we're not putting you in a policy that's 100. We're going to say we will do the analysis, the financial needs analysis or assessment, and you say I could afford. We're going to show you what that can get you and fit you into. So it may not be a whole bread, it may be half a bread, but it's something you can afford this. And then you have $25 left over. We will invest. So let's say you had $50, you got something for 25. We
Yeah.
invest the difference. So there's always the ability to start building wealth on a mutual fund, and then our rate of investment is between 10 and 12%
Okay.
annually. So Everybody in our community can have a mutual fund, $25 a month, and begin growing their wealth. And then we
Right.
say have the low cost level term life insurance to protect your family, but then you grow the wealth as well.
Sure, sure. So, on the average, with that analysis, what
Mhm.
are most people coming in under the affordability? How much are they coming in on? Are they coming in at 50, 100, 35? I know it ranges, but
Of course, it
on
ranges. It's
on
around
average,
$100. You find folks at 100, but they have young kids. My RVP was telling me she had one kid. He was 14. He was doing $25 a month. Then he crossed over a certain age, so he got a little part time, and he upped it to 50. So we just encourage any $25. You can't get better than that. And if
sure,
you're and that's monthly. That's being paid out, and your money's growing.
right,
But we see close in a range of 100 because we middle America. Some
right,
folks who got it will put more. And for
right,
those people who are behind on their retirement, because when you do your needs, you get these text messages, these email blasts. What does $1 million do for you? Who are you? What does it take to retire? Da da da. And they give you all these analysis. And folks
yeah,
at a certain age, it's hard to accumulate that money if you have not paid attention, if you have had, struggles or for whatever life has thrown your way.
yeah,
It's you gotta start thinking, how do I get to that amount? A mutual funds is a good way to begin that journey,
hmm
right?
hmm
But then we push the business because now it's not just accumulating that money because now you're further down in the age game, right? So what can you do to accumulate that money in a shorter space of time and compress the time frame because you don't want to wait till you're 80 to now. No. So getting that quality back in record time, we say invest the mutual fund and think about this as a business. So that way
right,
you can have your coverage, you get your low cost level term, you build a mutual fund, but then you evangelize on who else needs this because there are a lot of us out there who can benefit
hmm
either from getting a product, a service, referring somebody, or hey, I need some extra cash. So we really push the agenda for business ownership
hmm
because that's where the freedom is. But then we can really catch up on things like retirement or 401ks or whatever by, taking having folks take a look at the business in addition to the
sure.
investments and the policies.
Gotcha, gotcha. And so, if there's a family of four, your recommendation be to insure all four?
Absolutely. Well, we have a thing for that, right? It depends on the age of the children. Let's say
Right.
the children are under the age of 18. We put them
hmm
on the policies as riders, meaning they're covered. It might be 10,000, 30,000, 50,000. And based on that, when we do our calculations, that might be $5 a month or whatever. It
Right.
calculates what things would be. Um, and we do that because you don't know the order in which things happen.
hmm
And you always want to go before your kids.
Right. Right.
But we want to make sure everybody has it. But the beauty of having to ensure the kids, if they're under 18, once they cross the age of 18, they get to have their own policies and they don't have to go through the evaluation because they've been covered under the child
Got
rider.
you.
So
Okay.
they get, and then they're younger and most healthy. So they can get $1 million easy.
Yeah.
And I've written some proposals for some young people. They're like 39, 25, and it was pretty good. The rates are very good. So they can
Yeah.
get really sizable. And these are things if they went out drinking with their friends, they spend that in night like 50, 49, 30. I mean, so based on the age, we can really get them something competitive, right? So I recommend having everyone covered because we don't know the order of things.
Right.
That is the best way to make that to take that approach. But I'm working with a family of four, literally with one grandchild, and
Mm.
it depends on who is doing the who's paying for the policies, right? If the parents
Right.
have an overall budget, they will give us a number and we work within to see how much this one's going to pay, how much you're going to cover, what's for the child rider. So we work comprehensively based on who is paying for the policies. right?
Gotcha.
If the
Right.
kids are old enough and they got, and then it's a process because if you already have existing policies and so on, we need to validate the information. We capture all that information and so on. But
Hmm.
coming back to close that question, we recommend every individual be covered.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Cause and typically, you know, Lady Virgo said $1 million. She caught that number real quick. Um, but uh, when you say that, it's because they've already been covered under the rider of the parents, and now when they separate, because of age now, because insurance is based on age. So if they're 18, 19, and you know, best case scenario, go off to college, get a great job, it's not unfeasible for them to get $1 million policy because they're young, they're not
And
wealth
healthy.
risk,
Yeah,
right? And so why not insure uh,
correct.
for that amount? Because it's not the premium that I mean, it's not the premium that you're paying that you should be worried about. It should be the accumulation that you can value along with, because it's not a commingle. It's you're covered for $1 million, but your premium is also being invested so that it's a both and, not an either or. Is that correct?
Well, I don't like when you talk about the premium being vested. So I wouldn't go down
Okay.
that path because that's
Okay.
how insurance companies work. They invest the money. It's because it's
Okay. Well,
transferable.
help me.
You
That's
would
what
be
I'm
have
talking
you
about.
would be having the coverage because you're younger, but the monies that you would be invested in a mutual fund as
Yes.
well will accumulate. Remember, we're not combining
Right.
those two things, right?
Yes.
They could start at $25, you know, which is they maybe even start with a little bit more. At 18, they may get $50,
Right.
but they can get good policies if they're young and healthy, reasonable prices.
Okay. Okay. And and again, I'm asking like somebody you trying to sell insurance to. So the split can when I pay my 25,
Mhm.
what's the split?
There's no split because a 25 is your investment. So we would have a licensed rep who in securities and mutual funds, et cetera, sit down with you and we go through that assessment. And it depends on the nature of the mutual funds that you're going to get, right? We work with you if you want something that's aggressive, conservative, or blend and that type. That's on the back end, how you want to invest your money, right? Yeah.
Okay.
And you find folks at a certain age, they kind of tend to look at more aggressively growing funds, but
Right.
there's no split. Your money is invested. The split comes with which mutual funds in which the money is invested, but it's all targeted towards growing, right? There's no
Okay.
split there. That money is for your wealth building.
Okay.
And the insurance policy is a separate thing that you pay completely separate. There's no
So
commingled money.
that's a separate premium.
Yes, your premium is for the paying for your insurance, and the
Right.
investment is a completely separate account. There's no
Okay.
marrying, there's no kissing there. They're
Right.
separate.
Right. Right. Okay.
Because somebody may
So
just want life insurance and they don't want to invest their money. They might, I
gotcha.
just want a policy. I don't want to invest my money. I ain't got no money for that. It's a life insurance 100%.
Okay.
But we recommend our crusade is you get yourself covered and you make some money
Right.
because
Okay.
you're
Okay.
going to be able to afford the prices we give you. You'll be able to afford your money. Buy
Right.
term, invest the difference.
Okay. Okay. And the average you said that fluctuates depends on your income, but but would it be seen as two payments or one?
It'll be two payments.
Two payments. Okay. Okay.
Right.
All
Because
right.
what your monthly and with the insurance you can do quarterly or monthly. And then with the mutual funds, the investment, that's a monthly
Okay.
payment.
Okay. So with that,
Hmm.
what in your work, what have you seen as the bundle? Let's call it the bundle. How much are the average family paying for let's say a 50 to 500,000 policy? What would let's stay with the 50 because we want to be affordable.
That is very hard to come up with an average because, like I
Okay.
said, we meet people where they are.
Right.
And like it's some people on the outside, things are looking good, but on the inside, it's affordability. So we
Hmm.
see an average policy for us is 84 bucks, around $84.
Okay.
But not everybody can do it. We've seen policies in the one something range because of the age of the individual and what they want to cover. I would
Right.
say $84 is kind of like the medium, but not
Right.
everybody hits that, right?
Right.
Because we have some young people coming out, they want to get coverage, they got kids, they're single parents, and all they can do is 60 bucks. So I've written quite a few, 34
Right.
bucks. We kind of I wouldn't say don't like, but the rate of as inexpensive as $34 is, the
Yeah.
$34 policy, we find those stay hard to stay on the books because somebody who can only afford $34, they're struggling,
Right.
and it's a stretch for them. So
Sure.
typically that's the first thing to go, right? So that's
Yeah.
kind of like an indicator. We still offer it. We take, we cover them, but we
Right.
find the rate of it holding on to just because the affordability is so tough. They tend to not stay on the books that much. But
Yep.
we work with you to, make sure that's
Stay
what you can.
on. Yeah.
But you find the policies that are in the range of 60 to 80 to 100, they tend to stay because folks are in a better financial state
Right.
to hold on to them. And so that's kind of an idea. It doesn't mean that all the $34 ones don't stay, but
Right.
we
Right.
we, we we can kind of see it based on the struggle. So that's why
Hmm.
we promote the business, right? So,
Right.
you learn a business, you advocate on your behalf, you get yourself covered with your own product, but then there's additional income coming in so that you can keep
Right.
that policy yourself.
Okay.
But the average, I would say, are roughly $84.
Okay. All right. And do you have, like you had said before, you have some people that come in that just want the coverage, they just want the
Mhm.
insurance. Can that person come in later and say, I want to get in on the investment side, or do they have to do it at the same time?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So the thing is, when we talk about investments, it's two perspective. There are
Right.
people who want to just invest their money. So they come like a customer as well because we sell them an investment product. We invest your money. But
Right.
there's some people who want to do an investment, become licensed themselves
Right.
to procure investment products.
Hmm.
Just like, because remember, Primerica, we are in not the only the life insurance business. That's our product. We own, we promote, we all have
Right.
it. So we advocate
Right.
on that. But we are literally a distribution system. We
Okay.
are distributors of financial products and services. So it's not exclusive to insurance. We kind of start people up with that because we all need it,
Hmm.
right? But we distribute everything from a mortgage, we distribute for investment products, mutual funds, securities. We distribute Vivint Home Security. We distribute legal protection. We distribute 401k plans for companies who have at least 99 employees. We can set them up with a 401k plan. So we're in that investment from a holistic perspective because
Sure.
but we pay for the licenses. We pay for
Right.
all of them. We have to get a life insurance license, a securities a license, SIE, the Series 6 and Series 63, which we pay for.
Okay.
So like when we first started talking, I said we give them the opportunity first and we see where they want to fall in. Like you said, I just want to invest. Oh,
Right.
I want a product. Oh man, I am going to do this business. You pay for my licenses, I'm on.
Yeah.
That is, we try to give the whole picture and see where they fit in. And
Okay.
for the month of April, it's only $49 to get registered,
Mm.
and that covers all of your licenses.
Okay. Okay.
There is a recurring $25 fee for a virtual office because everybody, I'm in 11 states working on Puerto Rico and Canada. I can't physically be there. So I have a virtual office. That's a $25. That's monthly. So I can learn on the products, get my coaching, join the videos, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We are also partnered with Kaplan, uh, and they teach quite a few of our classes for the SIE and so on. So, I mean, we are, and we do have our own schools where you can go physically in the offices, or you can do it virtually, remotely for yourself. We have structure to get people where they need to be. And at 49 bucks a month, my shameless plug, that's a no-brainer. You buy three
Hey, that's
Starbucks
what the show's
and that money's gone, right?
right,
And you will be in business for yourself, but not by yourself,
right,
right? We
right.
hold your hand every step of the way. We show you the mechanics of what to say, what not to say, how you grow your business. From day one, you get registered, you make 50 bucks by looking at a video to welcome you on board, and that's $50 in your escrow account. As you're learning, we have something called field training bonuses. So let's say I'm writing a policy and you just got it. I just recruited you because we do a lot of recruiting. I'm not a shying away from the word. We are recruiters. I'm a recruiting machine. We get you in while I write a policy. We put you on as a field trainee on an average policy that's 84 bucks. You made 200 bucks just by listening in,
Just by listening,
right?
yeah.
But the goal is getting yourself licensed. We give you 3
Okay,
months, get licensed, so that way you can cash in on that money.
right.
Now, the worst case scenario, let's say the 90 days have passed and you haven't gotten your license. Is there? No, it's no big deal. You just didn't get to keep the money you've accumulated while you were learning. And our goal is to make the money. So we say we leave nothing on the table.
Right.
Your goal is to get that license before. But let's say worst case scenario. It doesn't mean you lose your field training bonus, but guess what? You could always start again to make your
Hmm.
money. So we have different ways. We have a 4-point game plan. We do the same thing over and over and over, the same thing. Rinse,
Right.
recycle, repeat. No secrets. Everybody wants you to win. And we are a very, what's the word? Exciting community.
Sure.
Every demographic is represented. I think last weekend was the African American Leadership Council
Mm.
based in Orlando, Florida. We also have the Asia Pacific Islander that's coming up, and I think Atlantic City in May. And then this Latin America. So there's representation from every single demographic. So you can
Right.
see yourself, hear your story, have that support to grow your business. And remember when we first started talking, I said we have so many millionaires. It was 174. We crank out a millionaire like 1.2 every month because as of today, as of last Monday, 176 millionaires. I think we froze. Are you there?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, thank you, Lady Virgo. I think we're frozen. Hello, are you still there? Pastor Devin, I think we froze up.
All right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh, there we go. You there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. I'm looking at my monitor. My email is. I mean, my internet is going in and out, and this wind is
Hmm.
blowing over here. So you were talking about the business side of it.
Hmm.
Not you lose the 90 days, but you can start again. Does that
Yeah, you just
escrow
didn't
stay
keep
still?
that money. You just didn't keep that money because the whole point of it is you making the money. So they give you that 90 days to get licensed. So whatever monies you made during your field training window, you get to keep. Right? Because you're in
Gotcha.
here to make the money. So they made it so that you can build a business and learn the business. We don't learn the business to do the business because while you're learning the business, you know nothing, and that's a whole
Right.
90 days. So you make the
Right.
money, you do the business. Like I said, jumping in the pool, we do the business to learn the business. As you field train, as we show opportunities, few people get registered, and policies are written, etc. You make some field training bonuses. Now, when you see your cash moving, your I mean, you came in to make the money, so you are not
Right.
going to not get those licenses before the
Right.
90 days. I think in Canada it's 120 days they get. and in Puerto Rico 220 days. So the time frame is different based on the
Right.
demographics. Some the other
Right.
countries and the other territory, Puerto Rico, they have a longer time to get those licenses. In the United States, it's 90 days, and in the state of Georgia, they get a temp license very quickly.
Mm.
I think because we headquartered there, so the rule is a little bit different for Georgia, but
Right.
everywhere else you got to do that 90 days.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I think we've covered the whole gambit from the front to the back. What came to my mind is, in our culture, we say we for the pig we eat from the rooter to the tutor. So we've covered it from all angles, so that people are very well informed, which is what I always want. And so, folks who are watching, we've got some folks coming in and out, which is great. I put on the screen. I hope you were able to see that people were really encouraging you to stay doing what you're doing.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so that's when you know you're making sense.
Yes, and I'd like to say that for folks out there who have a policy that you want us to take a look at, I'm here. We'll evaluate it. And I'd like to compete for your business because I know what we have is what's required, as opposed to, trying. We focus on the families to make sure they have the education. I would say that in joining this business, there are a lot of things that I would not have been taught in the classroom, things that I should have known much younger. Like there's something called the Universal Care to Minors Act, which is something
Mm.
that you start accumulating for your children once they're young. By the time they're 18, they don't need to work for anybody. I learned that in
Right.
this business. So all these different things. So being a part of, in addition to making the money and having a successful business, the education that you're exposed to, right? Because a lot of people are talking and teaching business. Not 90% they don't have a business. They've never owned one. So they're giving you the academia, but sadly, the academia is still conditioning us to work for somebody else. It
Mm.
is still conditioning us not to be an owner because we are, you know, work streamlined to work for somebody else, and we are moving away. We have moved away from that, right? Because ownership is key. You have the
Yeah.
autonomy to make your schedule. I mean, we're a company within a company, right?
Right.
So you have some more leverage, and it's something that you can definitely pass on to the next generation for at least 100 years. One of the old members of this business, she's been dead for like 14 years or something. And every month her kids get like $89,000. She's been gone for so
Wow.
long. It's ridiculous. So
Wow.
that's what we're putting in place. We talk about Coco, a circle of championships owner. Once you build this business to the $300,000, that's ownership, and that keeps living beyond you.
Okay.
So we evangelizing in our community. Um, we say start small, but start today. Give me
Mm.
a call, if it's something you want to consider, and we will help you get on board. You'll be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. And there's that. Robert just put up the scripture that you were referring to in Proverbs 13:22, which says, "A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, but the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just."
That's right.
And so, we Robert's been. I've been putting his scripture up. That's my scripture guy. Got to find the
Nice.
scripture
Thank
that's
you, Robert. You're
relative.
spot on with that.
Yeah, that's relative to what we're talking about. So, how can people get in touch with you?
I'll give you my number and my email. Can I put in a chat, or should I
Yeah,
just
sure. Put it in the chat. Yeah.
and I take every call. Let me put my numbers. And the thing is, I like to do another plug, right? A lot of times, because we do this business as financially regulated by the federal government and the
Hmm.
SEC and all of the states, so a background check is required.
Yep.
You know how the system's been stacked against us and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Please, please, I don't care if you've committed the worst crime. You know someone who has not. Don't allow anything that's systematic to keep you out of the game. You can work with your wife, your son, your adult daughter, yeah, cue me your pastor. Come up with some kind of arrangement. If you can do the legwork, and and we can talk about that stuff offline. But there's
Hmm.
always a way to benefit from it. I've seen quite a few brothers who had the interest, but because of a background check or whatever, or somebody was a professor, he couldn't get expunged. I said, listen, what about your wife, your adult children? Get the pride out of the way, because money has no feeling, right?
Yep.
We just need to make it.
Yep.
Find a way to partner with someone with whom you have the trust, the respect, and get a part of this game that is excluding us. We could
Hmm.
do something. So I that's my plug right there. You know, I'll send my number in the chat,
Okay.
and folks can reach me.
Sounds good. And if those who are watching are not in a position to write, you can always catch the rebroadcast and catch it on your own time, or you can get in touch with me and I can get you the information as well. Um, and my email is always devinlmiller65@gmail.com. So this has been a wonderful month. Good conversation, and I think good information, which is what we always try to provide, so that you can make the righteous decision on your money. Because again, uh, financials matter, especially now. And that's why I really wanted to talk about affordability, because that's the buzzword right now, because everything else is going crazy. So you don't
Mhm.
want to forsake not having coverage because of the economy. Here is an opportunity to get what you need in order to be who you want to be and for your children, no matter what they're doing. And encourage if you have adult children, start having the conversation about it, because it's
Listen,
not about death. You know, I remember before I started doing this, I talked to my kids, and I said, "Hey, you guys are making money now. You got good jobs. You got expendable income. I want you guys to think about getting a small policy and start doing it now. 10, 15,000. You ain't gotta, get the bank, because you can grow with it. But it's good to start now when you don't have any kids, you don't have any responsibilities. You're sharing rent with a friend, and my other son is staying at the house with his mom. So it's like, why not take that money and do what needs to be done? And so but they're young. They think they can live forever, and I'm like, look, I know I can't live forever, so you better find, and reality is real when you start seeing your parents pass away. It's like,
yeah, yeah, and
oh,
we've been hit with that this my niece's stepdad. So it's 2 days ago. So we're trying to pull together and be strong for them. But the thing of it, I'm gonna put another plug in there. I'm putting
yeah,
another plug because the fact that you talk about adult children, you and your children can you're literally sitting on a gold mine if your kids would partner with you,
mhm,
especially in this month of $49.
right,
And based on situations, we always work with people. I'm plugging a seed there so that
mhm,
you can really build an empire with this information, not just from from a knowledge perspective, but because of
right,
how we build a business. You guys are sitting on a gold mine. If you have some level of influence, I like to use the word influence because people work with whom they trust, they have a relationship. We kind of warm market business
mhm,
within almost record time. You guys can see the green based on how we build a business. So I'm hoping the message resonates and people take action sooner than later.
right, right. Okay. All right, folks. Well, you've heard it from the source. You didn't hear it from me. It wasn't secondhand. I bring the people that's got the knowledge. They always say surround yourself with people that are smarter than you.
That's
Uh,
right.
and I try to do that every Wednesday. So, Sarah Jordan, thank you so much for your knowledge and your time. We really appreciate it. I know this has resonated. In the comments, folks are like saying, this was a good segment. So we try to do that for the people. It's really about doing it for the people. So, any parting words? I know you've been saying you're doing shameless plugs, but we don't do shameless plugs here. We plug it. We don't want it to be
We plug
plugged.
it. Come and join me in this business. Create legacy for your children. It's only $49 to get signed up. We will hold your hand, walk with you, show you. We have trainings on Zoom, so you don't have to be in the same place as I am physically.
Right.
We have big events. I'm attending a big event, the 1st to the 3rd, Concord, North Carolina. I already got X amount of tickets. So if somebody's interested in coming, because we said the environment does the work for you. I
Mm,
can talk till I'm blue in the face, but once you go to the environment, your business explodes. So if anybody has an interest in coming to the event, I have my information there. I have a couple of tickets extra, so we'll see. We can work on accommodation, etc. But that's the place to be. Get involved, get yourself protected, get yourself educated, and get yourself empowered. Get in. We say start a little bit, start today at $49 for the month of April. What do you have to lose?
right.
What do you
Right.
have to
Exactly.
lose? Don't be living a woulda, coulda, shoulda. Get involved, give it a go. I guarantee you won't regret it. And bring a friend with you. It's all about creating that movement so that we are on the same page, growing a community, not just talk. A lot of people got the talk, but I'm giving you a tangible way to make money. It's not an opinion thing. This is a way how I'm going to show you, work, hold your hand, and work with you to get the next level. This is all hands on deck, something that you can do and get a result. That's my plug.
All right. Okay. So just to check, did everybody see in the chat Sarah Jordan's contact information? Just give me a yes or no, so that we know that it got there because I saw it in the private chat. But I want to make sure it got to the main chat. Um, this this StreamYard stuff is always new with me.
How do I get it to the rest of the folks?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Let me see. Uh, do you see? Let me do it this way.
You copy and paste it where you, since you are the host, you may be able to do it that way.
I think they want money. Okay. Yeah, let me do it that way. That way I can make sure it gets there. Let me see.
And you guys are an hour behind. I'm a night owl. I'm up late every night. So don't be afraid. Send me, text me, call me. I take the calls.
That's it. I tell people because I deal with so many coasts. Um, Folks are like, "Well, I'll call you at such a time." I'm like, "Okay, you do know that that's such and such a time at my place." Like I was on a call. There we go. I was on a call this morning with Uganda,
Oh, wow.
and it was 9 o'clock a.m. my time, and it was four or 5 o'clock in Uganda, and because there's an 8 hour difference. And so he, the pastor over there says, Good morning, Pastor. It is evening here." I said, "Well, it was better to catch me now because your evening is my early morning, and I don't know if I want to talk to you at 2 a.m.
I used, I used to do client onboarding for Citigroup back in back in the day.
Yeah.
I used to manage 54 countries for client onboarding with a focus on 18 priority ones, right? And calls
Wow.
in Russia, 7 o'clock in the morning, I was on the phone with them because I had to be it's the whole global time zone. And
Hmm.
my calls were at 7 o'clock in the morning just because they were, and that was their evening. It's crazy.
Yeah. The internet is amazing that we can touch the world from our living
It's a
room.
great thing.
From our living
Absolutely.
room. So, all right. Well, again, thank you. This is Sarah Jordan with Primerica. I get it right. And I put her information in the chat so that if you want to reach out to her, there's the information. Share this video with a friend. I think this is the most informative that we've done today. And I wanted to do that deliberately and intentionally because um, we can talk about it all day. We can massage it. We can do scenarios and all that. But until you move, it's just a conversation. And so we're really moving towards action in this next quarter to make sure that whatever shows we're doing, there's an action behind it. So that we're and we're spreading the word in a very comfortable way. You know, we're trying to make it not abrasive, not trying to make it forceful. You know, I don't get the views and opinions of the people on my show do not come back to me. All right. So I'm not getting nothing from this outside of if you move and if you take advantage of it. And I've told Miss Jordan this, and I tell everybody, just remember where they came from. That's it. Just remember where they came from. If you know, if it, and if you do it, say you came from Financial Matters. Okay, so
Hmm.
don't be
Yep.
Joe Blow on the street and say, "Oh, I just happened to come across your information." No, you didn't, Negro. You watched it on my show. Okay,
Exactly.
so
Can't
tell
be
the
a
truth.
secret agent from where you get the information from. You got to
Exactly,
evangelize. Yes.
exactly. So hey, have a great rest of your day and the week. If there's anything that we can do for you, you know you can reach out to us. And of course, if we come across folks, we will definitely refer them to you if they're looking to start a business, get into the game, and see the results. All right?
Awesome. I have some information for you. I'll get into before the night is over. Contacted, connecting with the author of the book and the girl who has that program as well.
Okay. Yep.
And
Send that
I
to
still
me
I
and
will.
I'll forward it.
Awesome. Make sure they got the contact information, and I will talk to you offline about what your desires or needs or what your position is.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Stay in the green room and then we'll come back up.
Okay.
All right. Hey folks, thank you again for watching Financial Matters. You know we just do what we do to connect people so that our community starts taking advantage of what other communities have always done. It is time for us to do it as well because there is enough for everybody. The last quote I heard, there are 8 billion people in the world. And that means that the recycling bin is going to be somebody's dying every day. Somebody's being born every day. And so we want to make sure that in between our living and our homegoing, that we are taking care of those who we leave behind, so that they do not carry the burden of our finances along with the burden of losing us as loved ones. So there is a method to the madness. So we have to do what we need to do on this side so that we don't have to worry about folks when we get to the other side. Okay. So again, thank you so much. We'll be on live tonight for our Wednesday teaching on our Clear Faith Christian Ministries channel at 8:30 this evening. So you want to join us there. Also, we'll be in chapter 14 and 15 of Romans. So we're wrapping up. And the next book we'll be going into, we'll be dealing with the life stuff, dealing with lamentations, dealing with grief, dealing with losing a loved one, and what the scriptures have to say on how we're to do that. So we're going to dive into that. It's not going to be sad and gloom and doom, none of that, because you know I'm not about that. But we do need to know the information so that we can cover life in all its areas through the knowledge of God and the identity that we have with Christ. On Friday, I will be teaching on our Church on Wheels network at 8:30. I mean, excuse me, 7:30 Central, 8:30 East Coast. We're dealing with, as I just mentioned, the knowledge of God and our identity in Christ. And so, if you're up in the mornings uh, and you want to join that broadcast, it's a call in. It's not a video. It's a call in, and the number is 7. wait a minute. Yep, 720-740-9647. That's the Meals on, I mean, the Meals on Wheels, the Church on Wheels network. And the access code is 189-659-1 and the pound sign. So again, if you want more information, email me at devanelmiller65 at gmail.com, and we can get that information to you as well. So let's close out with prayer, and then we will be back at 8:30 Central Time. Father, we thank you for this time that we've had. We thank you for Miss Jordan and the business that you have given unto her to be good stewards over. We thank you for the success that she has seen, and we pray for the success that she will see. Father, we pray that those who have watched over the last 3 weeks have learned and also will take action if it is something that you have purpose in their life to do. So, Father, we thank you, we praise you, we magnify you, and we adore you. It's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen. All right, folks, till next time, may God's riches and greatest blessings be yours. Peace.